God called me, remembered me, reignited me, recommissioned me. On September 30th, 2010, at 10:45 a.m., my life's mission was made clear, still clear. Reframe aging women's health. Amplify the narratives and voices of seasoned women. Rage against gynecologic cancer. Engage, educate, advocate, transform, and project the health and quality of life of seasoned women. Project Nana. Welcome to Casa de Confidence, a podcast for you. You'll hear some incredible women
and some awesome, cool dudes
going confidently in the direction of their dreams and living in the purpose of their heart.
You're our host,
Julie DeLucca-Collins, and you are our sidekick. # handsome hot husband.
That again.
And the producer of the show.
That I am.
I am an author, speaker, coach, dreamer, and most of all,
we help people go in the direction of their dreams
and support them on their purpose. So pull up a chair,
grab a drink,
and make yourself at home because our casa
is your casa. What's up, dog mama?
Hello, Daniel Collins.
Hi, everybody. Sorry. Just saying all the dogs are crowded around Julie, so
you call me dog mama? You're pretty much going to tell me I'm the part of the fluff squad here.
They're one species away from you being a childless cat lady.
Oh my God. Oh, we're flying off the rails already, Dan.
Oh my God. Is that too much? Too far?
Nah, you're fine. You're fine.
I'm fine.
You know, I'm a honorary cat lady. That's all.
I know. You're just allergic to cats, or you would have them.
I don't know if I would have them. Cats are you know,
a little independent.
I need
a little shifty.
Not shit. Listen, there's some cats that have nice personality, but I need, you know, that thing that Yogi and I have going.
There are
codependency.
There are shifty cats out there, though.
Well, listen, we're not going to yuck somebody else's.
Oh, there's some wonderful, adorable cats too.
Hey, did you know I used to cat sit? Do you remember Bonnie Harris?
How'd you cat sit if you're allergic to cats?
I don't know, because I wanted to stay at someone's house without my mom and sisters when I was growing up.
Oh.
So if I cat sit, I got this whole house to myself.
I think we tend to develop allergies as we grow older.
Yeah, I guess so. But listen, so Bonnie Harris, do you remember who she is?
Of course I know Bonnie Harris.
Okay, so Bonnie Harris, who was one of the adult leaders and chaperones for our church youth group.
She was one of the adult leaders when I was an adult leader for Rock.
And by the way, I thought she was so old because she was 45. Anyway, so Bonnie Harris had 2 cats, and they were those fancy cats.
Persians?
Yes, I guess so. They're the ones that are fancy.
Or Siamese?
No, not Siamese.
Probably Persians.
I don't know. Anyway,
I think she had Persian.
Well, when I finish my sentence, you're going to know what kind of cat it is.
Okay, go ahead.
Her
grumpy cat?
Sweetie is the one cat. That was the granddaughter or grandson cat of the Fancy Feet's cat.
I think those are Persians.
Okay. Well, it was pretty exciting.
So
anyway, so I used to cat sit, and it was really, really fun. And also she had a bunny too. So it was like a whole thing.
I had rabbits when I was growing up.
We have rabbits now. We have rabbits out in the yard. Yogi tends to chase.
I had show rabbits.
Oh, good for you.
I think we've spoken about this.
Have we talked about show rabbits before?
I think so. I had a, what was it? A Australian lop.
Oh, now you're getting fancy.
Or a Belgian lop.
You're getting really fancy on me.
Well, lop is the type of, they have their ears, they don't stick up. They go down. Wow. They're adorable. So, a Florida white. I had a Florida white. That's right. I had one of those. And I competed him in a class against other white rabbits. He won. But it technically wasn't qualified. It was not the same breed.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry if you're listening to this and you're like tuning out already because we're talking about rabbits.
Oh, wow.
I'm sorry.
Hey, You married yourself a country boy.
I guess I did.
I'm not that country, but you know,
You're a little bit country. I'm a little bit rock and roll.
I'm really.
That's how we roll today.
I'm a little bit country.
I'm a little bit rock and roll. And for those of you who don't know what we're talking about,
I'm more rock and roll than you are.
Yeah, I don't think so. I'm a Bon Jovi through and through.
Really, Bon Jovi?
Yeah. Did we comment about how my dream came true last week when Bon Jovi came as a surprise guest at the Pitbull concert?
Yeah.
Boy, was I grinning from ear to ear.
You know what? Did they sing a Jimmy Buffett song? So that would have been
that would have been the perfect trifecta.
Because I know Pitbull sang a song with Pitbull,
and Jimmy actually Pitbull released a song. Thank God for Jimmy Buffett when Jimmy Buffett died.
That's right.
Anyhow, listen, it is a very important week here at Casa de Collins, not Casa de Confidence.
And I know this is evergreen, but we are a day late, but we are not $1 short. Yeah, it is Monday, and we are recording our intro to this wonderful guest that we have coming on.
We have a wonderful guest, and we have a reason for releasing today. And we have something exciting happening at Casa de Collins.
We do?
Yeah, we do.
Santa's coming early?
No. Oh. We are being a sandwich generation woman. Well, not really.
Well,
I guess.
I'm not going to be a woman.
I'm not a sandwich generation, I suppose, because I'm not being sandwiched. I'm an open face sandwich.
Wait a minute. What's sandwich generation?
Sandwich generation is a woman who is taking care of elderly parents and young kids. But I guess I'm not a sandwich generation. But maybe I am an open sandwich because I am taking care of my mom.
It's not really a generation, though.
Oh my God, Dan! It is what it's called.
Oh, okay.
It's a sandwich generation. Don't we have a client that's what her ideal client is? She is a financial planner for women who are in the sandwich generation. Anyway,
okay.
But now you missed the point.
I didn't miss it. You didn't make it yet.
I said I am an open sandwich, open face sandwich, because there's no two things. Wow.
So you're half a sandwich?
I'm not half a sandwich. It's an open sandwich.
Open face sandwich. I get the joke. It's just not that funny.
It's funny to me. It was funny when I first said it, but like when I had to repeat it like 10 times.
I'm kind of no-selling it. It's kind of funny. It's pretty hilarious, actually.
It was pretty hilarious. I'm pretty quick on my feet. So my mom is coming to live with us for the time being because, well, she is going to come to live with us. She should not be living alone. I've been concerned about this for a while. And it has taken us and my sisters and I a little bit of teamwork to convince her that this is probably the good thing for now. And it's not forever if she doesn't want it to be, but at least I will feel better that she is here and we can take care of her. And it's much easier for us because, well, we have the room and my sisters right now are in a season of life in which they're running around with younger kids, not toddlers, but, kids that make them run around.
The busy time, the teenage kids.
It's a busy time. So,
oh my gosh, I just called your niece and nephew teenagers.
Well, Amelia is a preteen.
Well, how old is she?
She's 11.
She's
virtually. Hold on a minute. How old is she? Hold on. She was born in...
She's not a teenager. She's virtually a teenager.
2013. Yeah, she'll be next year. She'll be 12.
She's a tween.
She's a tween. Yeah. Okay. And if you haven't listened to Amelia's episode, I interviewed her for the podcast a few episodes back. I think people should go check it out. But today is a special episode because the amazing Vanessa Hill, who is our guest today, she and I did our TED Talks together.
I met Vanessa. I remember.
Yeah. She lives in Key West. And she's got an incredible journey and an incredible mission in this world. And one of the things that Vanessa and I have in common is that we were very close to our grandmothers. Her incredible grandmother is someone who inspired her to move in the direction of what she is doing now. And she is the founder of Project Nana. And her mission is, as she created this boutique nonprofit, is to have an innovative approach to advancing health equity for post-menopausal women. And, she calls them seasoned women. But the main reason she started this is because her grandmother, and again, cancers plague women of all ages. However, when her grandmother, her Nana, died in 2012, she wanted to help educate women age 55 plus about continuing to seek gynecologic care with the hope of achieving early cancer diagnosis, which is something that her Nana did not have. So for this reason, she knew that she wanted to make a difference in the lives of others. And the reality is that 3 women self-reported that they need surgical intervention. And most of them are diagnosed with stage 1 endometrial cancer. So we need to make sure that we bring awareness to this. And I know that when I had my hysterectomy back in 2018, I guess it's been 7 years now almost. And I was told, okay, you don't need to come back for a pap smear, but that's not true. They still need to screen. Even though I'm missing some of my equipment down there, screening still needs to take place because that does not preclude you from having a disease and being diagnosed with cancer. So it's very important to bring awareness to that. And one of the things that Project Nana has done is that they have a seasoned women's health summit. And again, this is something that she does. Also, she has awards and walks to bring awareness to this. So I'm going to have the show notes in full of all the information on Project Nana, on Vanessa. And this would be a great opportunity because you can partner, you can sponsor, you can donate, you can volunteer. There is always a way for us to support causes that are important to us and that make a difference in the lives of others. So anyway.
I think this is a good conversation to have too, because, like with my mom, and my mom would have been your Nana's age, basically, because that was the age difference in my family. It's still that generation that doesn't talk about it sometimes, and that generation that doesn't want to bother you.
Yeah.
For their health.
No,
I don't
absolutely.
want to be a bother. I don't want to be a burden.
Well, we tend to put ourselves last, but the reality is that after menopause, more women, the increased risk for chronic conditions, cardiovascular disease, osteoporosis, urinary infections, intercourse being painful, weight gain, all kinds of things. And by the way, all these things, if you're a midlife woman like me, I wonder if you I would love for you to tell me and send me a message on any other social media platforms and tell me, do you lay at night and when you have a slight ache, you're like, oh my God, what is that now? Like every night, it seems like I go to bed and I'm thinking, wait, what is that hurting for now?
Well,
it's like a new thing going on.
And then you hear me burp in my sleep and you think I'm having a heart attack.
Yeah, I do think you're having a heart attack every night. One of the things that we're going to do in the next month or so, Dan, is we're going to create I have one, but I'd like for you to create one, and that is a succession plan.
Succession plan?
Yes.
So who's going to take over my empire?
Yeah, because we should all have a succession plan. What happens to your legacy after you're gone?
Simba, you want to be my boy?
Oh my God. Really?
Oh, sorry, I'm talking to the dog.
You're talking to the dog now.
He looked at me. He's like, no, I don't want that responsibility.
So, okay. Now, I want to also tell you that with my mom coming in, we are going to have to, go and put a bar in the bathroom upstairs.
Julie wants a coffee bar in the bathroom upstairs.
No. A bar.
Oh, you want alcohol?
No, Dan, a bar so when you come out of the bathroom, you don't crack your head open because you slip.
A grippy bar so she can't fall.
Hello.
I was just thinking in Julie.
Really? Wow.
Just the other
You're thinking
just the
I want
other
alcohol
day.
upstairs in the bedroom more
Yes.
easily accessible?
Yes. Just the
My
other day, you
God.
said you wanted a coffee bar upstairs.
Yes, I do want a coffee bar because
So
sometimes
you
it
can
is.
understand where I'm going here.
Yeah, because listen, in the wintertime, sometimes I make Dan let the dogs out, and so I can stay cozy and toasty in bed. So then if I want coffee, I need to come all the way downstairs and be cold. But if I have like a little cozy coffee bar upstairs in the bedroom, I don't have to come down here to get my coffee until I'm ready to come down here.
Maybe you can just sleep on the couch.
Maybe I can sleep on the couch. Wow. That's how we roll today, Dan. Piece of work that you are. Unbelievable. Okay. So what other exciting thing do you have going on, Dan?
Well, I dropped my computer.
Oh my gosh. I thought you killed a dog for sure.
I thought I killed my computer.
He calls his computer, he has two, which really are fast and handy.
I have one is called Speedy.
One is Speedy.
The other
Gonzalez?
What? No, Speedy.
Speedy, okay.
The other one I named Rapido.
No,
I did.
you did not.
And the third computer is just the Nas.
The NAS. Well, he dropped something and boy, he was working so hard at putting the cover and making it pretty. And then all of a sudden, boom, I surely thought, I just didn't say a word.
You have nothing to say about me being inclusive in my naming schemes?
Well, you have to be inclusive. You're married to me.
That's true.
Lord have mercy. Hey, by the way, I hope you know that for all of you listening who are podcasters today.
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh my God.
My computer's fine, by the way.
Yeah, your computer's fine.
Okay.
I've moved on because today
I just want to make sure everyone rest assured.
OMG.
Okay.
Are you kidding me?
It's my baby. They know that.
Okay, fine.
Go ahead.
But did you know that today is International Podcast Day, Dan?
I did not know that.
Yeah. Happy International Podcast Day, Daniel.
Oh, yeah. Happy International Podcast Day.
That's
Jewel.
right. And by the way, last week we made it in the top 10 out of 100 of motivational podcasts in Good Pods. Again, we made the top 100 charts and we made the top 10. Very excited for that.
Cool. I learned something yesterday.
What did you learn?
It is a national holiday in Canada today.
What is the holiday in Canada today?
It's National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. And basically it's a reconciliation day to pay respects to, and it was created for atrocities and horrible things that happen to children in schools, to Indigenous children in schools. I don't know all of it, but go research that and look it up. I didn't know this existed and that certain things happened. Things happen in history.
Yeah.
And we usually think about that in the States, but it happens in other places too. And Canada is one of those places, and they're doing the right stuff to spread the truth and to reconcile those things that happened. So anyway.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. And I have to say that this is one of the reasons why I think it, and knowing people from everywhere, it allows us to actually see that we are more alike than ever. There's so much that we're unpacking during this beginning of this podcast, but I want to make sure that, and again, I know that this is something that is evergreen. And if you're listening to this after the fact, I apologize, but I want you to know that also Western North Carolina, Florida, other states have been impacted by Hurricane Helene. And if you are in the United States or anywhere that you would like to help, you can contact the Red Cross. I'm going to have the information in the show notes.
And enjoy this interview with Vanessa and Julie.
Welcome to Casa de Confidence. Boy, do I have a treat for you today. I know I've said this maybe once or twice before, but I really mean it today. I have the incomparable Vanessa Hill here. She is a TEDx speaker from Mellon Street, like me. We met through TEDx when we delivered, and she delivered her TEDx. I was just taken with her, taken with her project, taken with what she's doing. I'm going to link also her TEDx because you need to watch it. But most importantly, she is the founder and executive director of Project Nana, a nonprofit focused on the engagement, training, advocacy, and empowerment of postmenopausal women and their overall health. She is an author, but all the other things that she is because she had some very strong roots with where she comes from and the people that have come before her. So, Vanessa, welcome to Casa de Confidence.
Oh, thank you so very much. I feel like we should just clink glasses and sip some tea.
I know. Hey, did you know that today is National Margarita Day?
No, but thank you for the excuse.
Yeah, there you go. Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, I just saw your TEDx, and again, I had met you. I don't think I had seen you at practice talk about what your topic is about. And you had me in tears. You moved me because what you talked about is something that's very close to your heart. Tell me a little bit about what is Project Nana? How did it come about? Give the listeners the scoop.
Okay, thank you. Well, I think the best way to say it is Project Nana is the personification of my grandmother, the experience with how I felt just losing her by a day, trying to reach and never making the day I missed, right? In it, that's how it is. That's how it feels for me. Basically, my grandmother died 2 weeks after diagnosis of stage 4 endometrial cancer, and I missed her by a day.
Wow.
I, was devastated. There's guilt, there's cowardice, there's, deep yearning, all of those things mixed into one. I was in Miami, I was teaching, and I was putting together stuff for, my job there. And I remember saying, could I come to see my grandmother once she was diagnosed, because I had just been there 2 weeks earlier. And she told me, no, we finished our work. And so I told her I would come as soon as I finished, the project I was working on, and she died the day before.
Wow.
So I think really, being able to have a mother, my mom was amazing to allow me the space to fall apart. Sometimes that's a luxury that a lot of us aren't afforded. And my mother did that for me, and really try to figure out what my next steps were. But the only thing that I felt I heard were echoes of why. And so that's kind of like I chased echoes, trying to determine what happened. And it just led to, a wonderful journey, in a variety of different industries. And I landed as a researcher for public health. I got another degree in public health. And my research turned into a nonprofit where I make sure that our postmenopausal women, but we call them seasoned women, really have that sense of agency about their own bodies and about their health care, and that they understand their voice is valuable, their lived experience is valuable. And we teach them, about gynecologic cancers, STIs. We teach them about what good care is, how you continue your care, and really also how to have shared decision making with the physicians, and not think that they are supposed to be told what to do, rather than to be able to have that discussion, inside the exam room, and then outside the exam room as well with their family. So that's Project Nana in a nutshell.
Well, thank you so much for sharing this. And I certainly was not aware that, again, these seasoned women, as you call them, we kind of get shifted and deprioritized in some ways. by our doctors because, well, you don't have a uterus or you're done with your period and maybe you don't need a pap smear. And there's a lot of these things that I know. I went to the gynecologist and like, oh, you don't need anything. But it's like they're dismissing health in some ways.
Yeah, when we think of women's health, I've said this time and again, we always default to maternal health. It's a very important subject, and it's also a very short season in a woman's life.
Mm-hmm.
And the nanas, they tell me that, it's like the invisible woman syndrome. The older that they get, the more invisible that they feel. And you're right. We don't think of their bodies as typically something to be valued as they age. And so why take care of it? If you don't think that there's a worth or a value associated with it, why take care of it? And I'm not saying that is the intention of the medical community, but what I can say is that knowing that age is a risk factor for so many diseases, we are living longer as a society. Women outlive men typically.
Yes.
And the longevity is one thing, but you also want to have that quality of life. And so prevention, is really the key. So it's not an opportunity just because you're older to say, be lax on going to the doctor. It becomes an opportunity to be more in tune with your body.
Right.
You know your body better than anybody else. But annual exams should happen, regardless of whether or not, as you said, a hysterectomy occurs. That does not negate you having an annual exam. You still have a vaginal canal.
Right.
And there are all sorts of cancers we don't talk about, quality of life issues like UTIs. We don't talk about vaginal atrophy. We don't discuss. But we make sure that if anybody before I leave, if there's anything else don't remember anything but this, you never stop going to get your pelvic exam.
Yeah.
People can tell you all day long, you may not need a pap smear, but a pap smear is a screening tool that happens within a larger pelvic exam.
Right.
And so that is where someone who is trained and knowledgeable, I tend to say gynecologists, can really look and do at least a cursory examination to see if there are any malformations or any abnormalities. Because there's only one cancer, gyne cancer, that has a screening tool, that is the pap smear. Wow. Everything else, you need to know signs and symptoms. That is the work that we're trying to get, everyone engaged in, is recognizing signs and symptoms.
Right. We just finished the month of January, and that is the Uterine Cancer Awareness Month.
Cervical cancer.
Okay. Cervical cancer. So tell me a little bit more about some of the things that individuals should be watching for. Because again, I don't think the conversation is really a mainstream conversation. So many people go undiagnosed because they don't see, they may think, well, this might be something else, and we push it off. And as women, we push off our health. We want to send our doctor, our friends, our husbands or children to the doctor, but we are not going to put ourselves on that list to go to the doctor as soon as we need to.
Yeah, well, the one thing that I think is the easiest to spot is vaginal bleeding. If you are a postmenopausal woman, you should not bleed after menopause. Believe it or not, we've had some instances where folks on my medical advisory board, these gynecologists or gynecologic oncologists, that they've said they've had women in their 60s to say, "Oh, we never went into menopause. We just, kept menstruating." Well, that's postmenopausal bleeding. Menopause, the average age is 52, and so you get along around that time. You should really be checking and looking at 12 months straight of no blood, no bleeding. You're in menopause. You're going into menopause. There should not be bleeding after that. we look at, as you were saying, there are a lot of different signs and symptoms, but like if you have pelvic pain, pelvic pressure, pelvic bloating, it could be a gastro issue, but it can also be a gyn cancer. It can also be another kind of cancer. It's just really being in tune with your body. But the most part, those pelvic issues and the bleeding, those are the telltale signs that if for nothing else, you need to be able to get referred to a diagnostic. And that's called a vaginal ultrasound, where they actually go in and they can see somewhat. You can't really fully diagnose if there is, a cancer, but you can look and see if there are any, immediate or abnormalities that are taking place.
Yeah, I think that, information is so crucial. And I know that there's people listening to us speak about this, and perhaps they had not realized that this is one of the things that they need to prioritize. I know from being Latina woman, and that there is a disparity between women of color and white women when it comes to care for cancer. Can you talk a little bit about the racial disparities?
Yes. I will tell you this. The one that's really, I think has the danger Will Robinson alert going on is, again, endometrial cancer. It is the one of the only cancers that's growing, and it's about 2% per year. You may have more of a incident rates or higher rates of women catching the disease who are white. However, the mortality or the death rates are higher. And I like to say shades of brown women, but I'll say
like
Black and
that.
brown women.
I like that.
And that is 2 times as many Black women die than white women, and 1.5, in terms of for Spanish speaking women that are dying. It is not only looking at that with the post-menopausal women, but, unfortunately, we're starting to see the endometrial cancer in younger women.
Wow.
And the cancers are also more aggressive. There are cultures that are very conservative and say you can't talk about private parts. Well, the urgency is if you keep something private, it can kill you. And there are folks who may not have any additional comorbidities or any other chronic diseases, and may not have any signs and symptoms and die needlessly because you don't know, you didn't get checked. So what I tell, especially, my Caribbean women, if you don't want to have a conversation with someone else, even though with Nana, we create that social network, but let's just say you don't. I tell them to practice the ministry of mirrors, the mirrors. And I said, if you don't have anyone who is going to go down there and take a look at what the baseline is, and if there are any changes in terms of bumps, or any type of growths that may be there, then you need to take a mirror. We give them mirrors. We give them compact mirrors. And I tell them it's not for these lips. But to take a look down there and get to know, you can have vulvar cancer. You can even have a melanoma that presents on down there as well on your vulva, and you would never know it because you don't. You leave the investigation to someone else. At least that's what you have been taught. Yes. Especially with our postmenopausal women, the older they are, it's like that is only for your partner. And, you don't explore it to see what's going on.
Yeah, it's interesting how things kind of work out. I actually did an earlier interview with someone that is a sex educator, and we really delved into a lot of this. And I think that these are conversations that we've shied away from because of culture, because of our society telling us that that's not table conversation. But the reality is that when we don't inform people, share information, equip people, then people die. And we have people in our lives that we love. We are people that are loved by others. So it's important to be able to understand that it's for everybody that we can make some strides in, fighting cancer and treating it if we can treat it much earlier than it's being found.
Absolutely. And, I don't want it to get lost that cancer is, what led me into this space. But one of the things that I learned is, again, I say the invisible woman syndrome, but how we also have this idea where folks who are maybe more seasoned tend to go into assisted living or long-term care. Don't you think that they are not having sex?
Here they are.
Yes. So 1 out of 6 new cases of HIV are for people over 50. And so, especially if you have someone in their 80s, right? What they knew about condoms is to prevent pregnancy. They weren't the ones who came up in the age of HIV. So, they were not thinking about, oh, let me do this as a prophylactic so that I can protect myself.
Right.
But then you also have to think, not only is HIV still there, we just don't talk about it. Syphilis is on the rise.
Yeah.
And so if you have these engagements, if you have sexual intercourse and you're not telling anyone, there are a couple things. A, if you contract syphilis and you don't resolve it, you don't tell anyone, good God, secondary, tertiary syphilis, it's like dementia because it eats at your brain.
Yeah.
And also, when you look at if you have multiple sex partners and don't think that that's not happening inside the assisted living, that also opens you up for more of an HPV type cancer and cervical cancer. Because when we think of cervical cancer, we tend to think younger. However, it is for everyone. Everyone can be exposed to it. But cervical cancer is the only, we have a vaccine for it and that could prevent it. But just like society, we have sexualized the vaccine so that if we give them the HPV vaccine starting at 9 or 11 years old, then we're giving them permission to have sex rather than saying we're saving them and doing a protective, we're giving them protection against some cancers. And so there are things that we really should do. Conversations like this are the ones that really should be had.
Yeah. When I worked for a church, one of the things that I did that was very controversial, but I was lucky enough that I had a pastor that was very well, he understood where I was coming from and he gave me some latitude. But I knew that just because we didn't talk about sex at church doesn't mean that it wasn't happening with church kids. So one of the retreats that I held was, we called it the sex and dating retreat, where individuals came and talked about it and did a little bit of education. Because at times it's not a topic necessarily that is addressed by parents with good information. People, I know, for as much as I love my mom, the information I got was like, okay, this is what happens. And I know things have changed. Obviously, I'm in my 50s, so conversations are different now, but it's important to be able to address this from all places so that it is not just a hearsay. It is not just like, oh, my friend said blah, 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 but it's something that we're really getting facts. We're really informing and equipping ourselves. And the same thing with young children, young girls. They need to be able to be educated in all of these topics. Most of them are beginning their periods at a much younger age. So it's important that they be part of the conversation, not just someone that we're trying to shield from sexual activity.
Yes. And that is one of the reasons why, having Project Nana, really making sure that we educate the Nanas and teach them how to advocate. My philosophy is if you educate a Nana, you educate a family, you educate a community. As you know, many folks, in different cultures, their parents may go out to work. And who's at home keeping you but your grandmother? And so that's an opportunity where you first learn. You learn about your roots, your family, and you learn how to be. And so that is an awesome opportunity. If the Nana is educated, it's not just about her, it's about
Yep.
what she can pass along, to her grands and to other members of her family.
Right.
And it's just about looking at a person as a whole being, right? We are
Yep.
spiritual and emotional and physical and mental. We're all of that. And we are not pieces. I think that, of course, the ageism that we all have makes an assumption at a certain age. You're not allowed to still be fully who you are. And so we are dismissing that. We're trying to dismantle that notion and really reframing with the idea of a woman fully in her lived experience, what she looks like.
Yeah.
I mean, certainly she could be in the kitchen, but she doesn't necessarily have to be the one baking cookies. She can be a world-renowned chef, and certainly, she can, be in the classroom, but she can also be in the boardroom. And I think if we expand and stop limiting and, taking people out of particular categories and allowing them to be fully who they are, these conversations will come a little bit easier.
Absolutely. And the one thing that I love about the organization and Project Nana is that you're not only doing the education part and awareness and creating resources for individuals, but you are also really focusing on the advocacy part of it, in which you have some tenets to the advocacy that you do. Can you tell me a little bit about what your policy initiatives are?
Yes. I think our 1,000-pound gorilla is always Medicare. If we know that you need to have annual exams, but then once you hit 65, the statement of policy in Medicare says every other year, unless there is a risk factor. Well, lo and behold, age is a risk factor, right? So because of that and the reimbursement rate that specialists receive from Medicare, some gynecologists do not accept new patients with Medicare, or some may dismiss patients. But it's Medicare and the reimbursement, and we don't do a fair reimbursement or adjusting, for inflation or keeping up with that.
Yeah.
So what that means is that where would a woman come in and have that discussion about sexual health, anything going around and along or wrong, as she may think, with her vagina, and to say vagina, because if you're in the primary care, they're talking about your blood pressure, and if you have insulin spikes, and very rare, although it should be a best practice, are you getting into below the belt type of conversations. So it's always been your gynecologist that you had those conversations with. So what we are doing, our policy, since we are not able yet to beat the dent in with Medicare, is looking at health systems and medical groups. If we can get them to institutionalize questions, like, when did you start menopause? Maybe that's a teaching moment. When's the last time you went into a gynecologist or had a pelvic exam? When do you have any of these pelvic pain, pressure, bloating experiences, or vaginal bleeding? If the physician asks, then the woman will know, well, maybe I need to look out for it. Maybe if every clinical engagement she's getting these questions, it becomes normal, and then she'll feel comfortable to ask. So our advocacy is about training physicians. We're trying to get policies or processes changed in health systems, and then also educating the women and their families, because that we cannot do this without a woman feeling that everyone sees her as a full human being.
I thank you for the advocacy and for a lot of the work that you're doing, because again, what I see is that, for as difficult it was to lose your Nana, you're creating a legacy, and you are impacting the lives of so many other women so that we can have more time with these wonderful seasoned women that are part of our life, that can support us, instruct us, and and that are part of the picture, right? I hate that at times, when there's a certain age, we begin to feel invisible. And I know that my mom went through that. And we need to redefine that. We need to redefine how we look at ourselves, how we look at others, and advocate to have a seat at the table, even in any stage of life.
Absolutely. And I think that what was really, I think, an affirmation is that once we had the education, once we work with VCU Massey Cancer Center, they are our national partners when it comes to creating this curriculum for peer support advocate training. We had a class in 22, and a woman came out. She actually went to the gynecologist. She hadn't been in a while, and it was a good exam. 3 weeks later, she started bleeding. And she remembered, wait a minute, I shouldn't be bleeding. And we were able to catch it at stage 1 endometrial cancer. That is our goal, is for them to know, oh, I shouldn't be, even though she had just gone to the doctor and got a clean bill of health. She was able to say, no, this just happened. What are we going to do about it? And so that, I think, is living fully and living whole, is to have agency over your body, to know that your gut feeling it really means something. And don't be afraid to ask and to demand care. Yeah. So it is just really about celebrating the women, but not only for our benefit, but for their benefit.
Absolutely.
That there is not an expiration for their dreams. If they want to start a whole new career 3 different times in their lives, that's okay. It's just about them not having any type of boundaries in terms of the who that they can be. And so I think health definitely allows for that to happen. You cannot be fully who you want without having, good health, and whatever that good health is for you. Because, being inclusive, you may have other abilities, but we're talking about the good health, the best health that you can have. So that's really what we're trying to aspire.
I love that. And I think that, we need to, like you said, not have an expiration date. I believe books have more than 1 or 2 chapters, and you can reinvent and create that new chapter at any point. Nobody has to decide that I'm done or I don't know what's next. There's so many different possibilities. We live in a world that, again, gives us a lot of privileges to live a little longer, travel, and why not, live life fully and live life healthy, which is most important. You do a lot of instances and trainings and have advocacy, not only advocacy, but people can get involved. It's not just Project Nana that is doing the work. You're also partnering with individuals and organizations. Tell me more about your partnerships and about how can people volunteer, maybe sponsor, and more importantly, donate, so that we can have this mission continue to be supported and grown.
Well, thank you. And certainly Project Nana, our intention was always to be an ember and light a fire, not to just keep everything to ourselves. That's not it at all. What we have done, as I said, VCU Massey was very and is very instrumental in assisting with us. We get our research through George Washington University, and have been having assistance with in sitting at the table at the Society of Gynecologic Oncology, as well as the International Gynecologic Cancer Society. We have a variety of individuals, whether or not they are seasoned women. I have a lot of grad students who are involved with us too. Or if you are physicians that become activists and are helping with us, what we've done, and we create these different instances, because the women kept coming to our research and messing up my research. And I'm like, why do you keep coming? And they were like, create something for us. So every 3rd Friday we have Nana Chats. The last Nana Chat was last week. We did dating while seasoned.
Ooh.
And they're different things that they come, it's
Mhm.
virtual, it's hybrid, and they can have these conversations. This year will be our second annual Seasoned Women's Health Summit, and we're doing that in Norfolk, Virginia.
Mhm.
People can come out. We have eligibility forms on our website so that we will get 50 women. That's the target, to be able to come 3 days. And they will learn about their bodies. We will go through the mental health and well-being, creating that social network, learn how to advocate. And then there's a walk at the end that they are declaring that Seasoned Women's Health matters. So we have media that has helped us. Cox Communications has really come on board to help us. We have health systems. I have to say, Centera Health Care, that's where, that's the reason why I'm here. And they've been a wonderful partner, particularly when we're looking at health equity. Didn't realize, I'm just thinking about Nana, had no idea in the wider scope that it really was health equity. And I cannot I give enough credit to the faith community. So you're talking about church, and it's the majority of people who are on the pews are women, and they are seasoned women. And so if we want to keep them engaged and active within the faith organization, we need to keep them healthy. So we've had a lot of support from faith organizations as well. So, we are about to head on out West Coast and developing chapters with Project Nana. And so those are the avenues. Those are the folks who allowed us, to come in and to give voice and be the patient advocate in spaces that some of our women may not have even, known existed, or they felt that the doors hadn't been opened. And so we're trying to kick the doors open and keep them open. Oh, and you're muted.
I'm hearing you speak. Well, the dogs wanted to participate, so I muted them.
That's okay. Oh, and you said donation.
Oh, donation. Yes.
We have a
That's the other
boutique.
piece.
Yes, we have a boutique on our website, projectnana.org. ORG. But we also just, people for donations. When it comes time for the summit, you can even sponsor a woman for the summit. And we're also this year adding a golf component. So we're working with Golfing for the Gals out of North Carolina, and it'll be Nana Golfing for the Gals.
Amazing.
So, so to bring everyone on board.
Well, I have, of course, as I hear people speak, of course, my mind goes to like, oh, I can connect her with this person and this person. So I have a few people that we definitely need to get you connected with. I know someone that is a big golfer and owns the golfing store for women, and she might be a good sponsor. So,
thank you. That would be perfect.
On. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And we had another wonderful woman who started an organization. And I think that this may be an organization too, that you both can maybe leverage each other's context and what you're doing, because again, it's to bring awareness to gynecological health for women. And it's important. We need to have these conversations. Vanessa, I would be remiss if I did not talk a little bit about TEDx. Congratulations on your TEDx.
Congratulations to you.
Thank you. What would you say to people that maybe are looking to pursue a TEDx, and what was the experience like for you?
First of all, for me personally, it was a surreal moment. My uncle passed as we were doing on the TEDx. And for me, it was almost a full circle moment, because it was my grandmother's oldest son. He too died of cancer, and he too died. And I missed him,
Sorry.
But for me, it allowed me to really kind of hone the message that I am just, the steward of, right? Yeah. I don't say it's mine. It's coming through me. But really allowing it to be honed, and because you only have a certain amount of time, and to pitch it in such a way, whatever that mission or idea is, for people to kind of get engaged. So I think it's super important for me making connections, being able really to explain what Project Nana is. And I never said Project Nana in the TEDx, but being able to explain how we need to reframe aging and really do that advocacy, because what I've been told is that certain organizations and congregations have played it, in their different meetings.
Yeah.
So it can go further than you can even imagine. I want Nana to go viral because remember, she wanted to be, she wanted to go ahead and be a missionary and go all over the world.
All over the
It's
world.
my dream that by November 28th, which is her birthday, her day of transition is September 30th. But if so, I would love for her to be able to go viral all over the world. So that is what the TEDx experience can do, where you may not be able to physically go, that message and that mission can go on before you.
Well, I am on board for making it happen. I know that, we have a great community at Casa de Confidence, the Confident You community. And of course, we have other incredible communities that we partner with that we're going to connect you with. And let's get Nana to go viral and create awareness.
Thank you.
Amazing. You're incredible. We definitely, didn't even scratch the surface with everything that you can talk about because you're a very accomplished woman. You have to come back. Will you come back, Vanessa?
I will definitely come back, but I also want to make sure that I say this. I am only because of the roots I come from. I'm a branch and a leaf of a leaf on this wonderful tree. And so coming from a family that we had amazing women, my mom is amazing, my grandmother, her mother, and her mother. And I'm very well aware of that. The reason why I say that is that we don't do anything on our own. And what we talk to our seasoned women also about is isolation, is that bringing together community, bringing together those partnerships, knowing that there's a sort of sanctity and a strength that you receive for being part of community, whether that's familial or whether that's your chosen family, is super important. So the answer to however I may help is yes, because we need one another.
Yeah.
I need you. And, I know that I just want to be able to be present.
Powerful. You are a powerful woman. Thank you so much for sharing that. And we are the sum of the people that have come before us. So I thank you, and I thank you for the legacy you're creating and the lives that you're saving. I know that we will continue to collaborate and be in each other's universe because I'm a full believer of your work, and we are going to continue to get the word out and get Nana to go viral. Anything else that I didn't ask you that you feel that maybe we need to go ahead and make sure we get in before we say goodbye?
No, I just want to give a shout out to Key West, Kayaweso. We're, Key West Conks. The experience there and with my family it has just been amazing. Just want to make sure that everyone supports you and the work that you're doing, and having this space for people like me to be able to come on board. I think that is also a gift. So, that is something that I want to highlight, is the appreciation that I have for your space. And so thank you so very much.
You're incredibly kind, my friend. Thank you so much. And, this platform is to be able to magnify voices, to be able to give a platform for those who maybe wouldn't be able to connect with the people that I can connect them with. And not that, or the people that are connected to me can connect them somewhere else. It's all a ripple effect. So thank you again for being here. And if you are listening, I want you to go to projectnana.org and make sure that you connect also there on Instagram. And I'm going to put everything in the show notes. Vanessa is going to share the additional information with the upcoming events that she has planned. I think that there's something for everyone that they can kind of get involved and support the organization and save lives. So thank you, Vanessa, for being here. And if you're listening, thank you, the listener, for being a part of the show and for making this possible. And one last thing, My friend, go confidently in the direction of your dreams.
Oh, that's good.
Thanks for listening to Casa de Confidence. We thank you for listening, and if you want more, go to casadeconfidencepod.com. Check Julie out on her socials as Julie DeLucca-Collins. And you can also check out her website at goconfidentlycoaching.com. Have a great week, and don't forget, go confidently in the direction of your dreams.
Hi, everybody. I know that sometimes we get very lonely in this entrepreneur journey, and I want to invite you to join us into our limited time only Purposeful You Mastermind. For many of us entrepreneurs, we believe that we can do it all, but the reality is that doing it alone only creates a lot of overwhelm. So join us at the Purposeful You Mastermind. You can find out more information by going to bit.ly/Julie's Mastermind. This is going to be the place where you are able to then unlock your full potential and achieve long-term success for your business. Push you behind your current limits, expand your connections, discover new ideas, and implement them with confidence. You're going to get the support in all aspects and transforming you to the six-figure business you've been looking for. Pause and get off the hamster wheel if you've been spinning around. This is a time where you can get that support from like-minded entrepreneurs that are here to join you in your journey. Together, we can challenge the assumptions and land the speaking engagements and opportunities we want to grow our business and make an impact in the lives of people. See you then. Remember, you can find the mastermind at bit.ly, Julie's Mastermind.